In 1938, British Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin uttered the infamous words, "Power without responsibility is the prerogative of the harlot throughout the ages." Baldwin was here referring to a group of British media proprietors that had attracted his wrath. These words ring true today as they did then. No doubt, responsibility is of paramount importance to the manner in which stories are treated, people are represented, and news reported. It is, in fact, part of a larger equation where principles such as balance, impartiality, and veracity are fundamental in the pursuit of excellence in journalism. Media over the years has undergone intense scrutiny, requiring it to be more introspective about its role and responsibility in society. This has given rise to the creation of a whole battery of self- or statutory regulation in the form of media councils, tribunals, complaints committees, codes of conduct, people's editor, and media ombudsman. The outcome has been mixed, as there have been some success stories in a media landscape where unfortunately public trust in journalists continues to decline. Highly conscious and concerned about the state of affairs, the African Media Initiative, AMI, whose mission is to strengthen the African media sector from an owner and operator perspective, has initiated and spearheaded the leadership and guiding principles for African media operators and managers. These principles were officially endorsed by the 2011 African Media Leaders Forum in Tunis. So, what is significant about the leadership and guiding principles for African media owners and managers? Well, they propose to build an ethical, strong, and inspiring leadership cadre within media houses across Africa. They speak to and engage the top echelons of media management in adopting and implementing core values that foster a culture of transparency, trust, merit, accountability, and good governance. They are continentally rooted and see their mandate as strengthening the media sector across Africa by making it financially robust, free from unnecessary political pressures, and socially responsible. They are country-owned and managed, which ensures that they are both rooted in reality and thus relevant to the local community. They build a community of best practices that is peer-reviewed and supported. African media leaders and owners paving the way. As evidenced by research, the media plays a crucial role in promoting democratic governance, social development, economic growth, and in empowering citizens to hold governments and other institutions to account. This is more valid than ever for Africa, a continent that is undergoing important democratic transformation, home to 1 billion people that have an appetite for information, and where the advent of technology is changing the information and communication pattern. The media, and more specifically, what is termed as traditional media, has had or is having to move away from the business-as-usual approach, or otherwise run the risk of losing its once guaranteed audience segment. That is a tall order, but in order to reverse the risk of becoming irrelevant, necessary commitment and investment strategies must be deployed by media leaders and operators using a consultative and inclusive approach. The leadership and guiding principles for African media owners and operators are part of the strategy. As already noted, the principles are about building and instilling core values around leadership and ethics to ensure professionalism, excellence, merit, trust, and accountability within the media sector. For this to happen, it is imperative to have collective buy-in from all media stakeholders. No doubt, this is a long-haul process, but once complete, can be upheld as an exemplar to the rest of the world of what Africa can achieve. Key ideas enshrined in the LGP are governance, accountability, transparency, trust, professionalism, and tapping into the digital revolution. On governance, commitment to the highest standards of corporate governance by establishing at board level a mechanism to strategically review and manage performance in serving the public interest in parallel with commercial interests, being in sync with existing codes, conventions, and protocols pertaining to ethics, rights, freedom, and responsibility, pursuing CSR principles. On accountability, compliance with laws, regulations, and industry codes, and commitment to beyond compliance standards, engaging regularly with key stakeholders, disclosure of ownership, investment, and revenue sources in a transparent manner. On transparency, disclosure of all proprietorial cross-ownership and influence, declaration of editorial, political allegiances, and any situations that might create a conflict of interest. Regular reporting of direct and indirect lobbying activities. On trust, honesty in sticking to both the spirit and the letter of laws of code of conduct and root out all forms of corruption and malpractice in media houses. Demonstration of integrity by keeping commitments to and agreements made with employees. Developing management systems that foster trust. And on professionalism, ensuring that recruitment and promotion processes are transparent and merit-based. Promotion of a culture of editorial independence, press freedom, and responsibility to the public interest, journalistic ethics, and institutional policies. Operating through clearly defined policies as opposed to ad hoc decisions. And lastly, tapping into the digital revolution, embracing the opportunities and being conscious of the challenges, managing user-generated content in the most apt way by balancing freedom to express with that of hateful comments, guarding against digital manipulation of content or phone or computer hacking. The leadership and guiding principles will be more than just a set of guidelines. It will be the means to making African media credible, robust, reliable, and a model to be emulated. Let us all commit to making this a reality.